All right, week 3, trading, Topstep, still in the combine. The account week over week is up $33.20. However, it was a rough end to the week as I gave back about $800 on Friday. So tough week just by the way it ended, but I did have some good trades throughout the week. And like the past couple weeks, I'm going to go through each trade starting at Monday. So coming over to Monday, zooming in, and then I'll go down to the 1 minute. 1 minute. There we go. So this at the time was I was playing a break of the first 30-minute high. So that would have been somewhere around here. So I got in on some strength. I got in a little high on this candle, held through some drawdown. And then when we started to go, I exited for a small scalp. And yeah, I remember this trade. I just wasn't confident at the time that we could break out higher because we had come back into range. And then we ended up just grinding higher all day. So this was something that from last week into this week, I wanted to try to make a change towards holding on to trades like this. This one is tough though because we had considerable weakness, especially from my entry. So I didn't have a great trade location. And we came back in and pierced the range. And once we pierced the range, it's really easy to go to the bottom of range, which would have been a stop out. But if I have no stop loss, it's just such a bad drawdown. So overall, I don't mind this trade. It's like a 4 out of 10, 5 out of 10. Like the idea, my execution, my trade location was not very good. And yeah, when I sensed weakness, I got out for a small gain. Turns out I was wrong, and it kept going. I traded NQ on Tuesday, so there won't be anything here. And I'll go to that one at the end. That might have been either Tuesday or Wednesday was the trade of the week. That was a good trade. I remember that one. So I'm just getting over to the next ES trade here. It's got to be coming up. Here it is. This was also a scalp, so this was not a really good trade. And I was trading for, so at the time this was the first half an hour low, and the first half an hour high was probably up here. So I was trading for a rotation from the 30-minute low to the 30-minute high. Got in on this candle right here, about halfway up. And then yeah, right into drawdown. We just consolidated. And then I just got out. It just looked really weak to me. And then we ended up falling apart. So I actually like what I like about this trade was how I managed it. I was expecting a rotation to maybe 67.30, and I'm being both patient. I got a timer in my head, and I'm being patient, letting it potentially develop. And as time goes on, it's not developing, not developing, not developing. Then I'm starting to get the sense, okay, maybe I'm wrong and I should go. So I end up getting out. This is a scalp, and then we fall apart. So this to me is a 6 out of 10. It's not great P&L wise, but I like the combination of enough patience and giving it enough room that if it was going to work, it has time and space to work. And then the combination of being impatient enough that as it's not working and not working and not working, I'm starting to think, okay, it's just time to go. Looking back on this trade, I don't I don't really remember if there was a good key area at this 20 other than maybe just some consolidation here. I don't remember the price action well enough to remember if it was showing signs. Oh, I do remember this. It was struggling to break the 15s. I actually do remember this now. Right, it kept struggling to break 15, break 15. So something I could have done different here, where I'm going with it, is when I get out, flipping short. And it did end up being a great, that's a great short right there. I don't think if I shorted I know myself well enough to know if I shorted the 15 and we got up, my stop would have been at the 20 or 21, which in this case wouldn't have hit, but it would have fired me up a little bit, would have been taking some heat. And my take profit would have been not much deeper than low of day. So still a great short, and I got to be mindful of that if I expect something to happen and it's not happening, maybe go the other way. So that was Wednesday. I give that a 6 out of 10. I like the patience of the trade and then the impatience to leave. It ended up being the right decision. And then Thursday. What happened Thursday? Oh, this was a good trade. This is the trade I was thinking of. So here we have 30-minute high, 30-minute low. We bounce off the low, come back, and make a higher low. I really like that. I like the way that looks. So I ended up getting in a little late in this candle for a move back to the 30-minute high. So I got in a little late and I got out a little early. But this was a good trade. This is a 7.5 out of 10, where seeing a good pattern. My entry was a little late, so I could have got, would have been another point to enter maybe right here, 38 or 39. And I left early. Now I know that looking back, that was also because I'd been spooked out from Monday and Wednesday, where there really wasn't a lot of follow through. And here there was good follow through, and especially Wednesday, we're just coming off a bearish day or big bearish move. So I'm not too, in hindsight, this looks very juicy. I'm thinking to myself, why didn't you stay? But also thinking back to, well, I know at the time there was a lot of bearishness, and I had not been trading that well, not getting a whole lot of follow through. So I think it was just a little bit of a me issue why I left this a little early. But I like the setup. I like where my entry was. My location in the candle is not that great, towards the top of the candle. But I do like entering on a candle like this, because you have, here you have two green candles, take it back. Here you have a green and then a red. So, we get a couple green candles, we can still take it back and still roll. So yeah, overall, really happy with this trade. This is a 7.5 out of 10. And then I'll go to Friday, and then come back to Tuesday in NQ. Okay, Friday I had two trades. This was, what's the timing on this? Oh, well, it might have been here. This was somewhere in here, was the 30-minute high. Let me see. Also, I actually got in this one a little bit early. Interesting. Yeah, I got in this one 1 minute early. And I was looking for this move, and I brought my stop or my take profit down to somewhere around here. We wicked up, and then right here when we started to show weakness, I thought it could try again. I also remember thinking that's really the move I was looking for, so I should get out. And especially looking back, it's like, yeah, I should have just exited. Because once that wicked, and that was a quick one too. Once that wicks and then doesn't hold, no consolidation or very little consolidation, it's really not good for any sort of a long-term move, in my opinion. So I need to not get stopped on that. I need to just manually exit it for a small gain or a small loss. So this trade, I took two trades. I'll take each one individually. I mean, this is like a 3 out of 10. I like the idea, and it was good that I had a stop because it just fell apart after. But I really just didn't manage it properly. I really didn't do anything once I was in the trade. This next one was too soon. Being too soon and wrong are the same thing. So I thought as we came down towards the 30-minute low, there's a chance that we bounce off of it and rotate back to the 30-minute highs. So I got in a little early, and I knew I got in a little early, but I essentially I just didn't want to FOMO. I didn't want to see it turn and maybe come up. I was in at 73, come up to say 83, up 10 points on a quick rip, and then maybe keep going down or whatever. So I got in a little early, and I knew that, but it was too early. So I ended up getting stopped out. when we broke the 30-minute low. And I gotta say, as much as this was a higher dollar loss, I'm actually happier with this trade. So to me, this is more like a 5 out of 10. This is just, I'm in before the candle closes, which I don't really like to do. I'm playing for this really quick scalp, which is fine, but that's not really what I tend to do. So I'm kind of breaking my own trends here, just doing this trade. This trade, I'm not really breaking my own trends. I just did not execute it that well. I didn't have, yeah, I didn't want to give myself the drawdown to let it play out. And I also didn't want to wait and miss it, which is a little bit, that's a little bit of a problem. But at the end of the day, this is the type of trade that I do take. So I can't be upset with that. And we broke the 30-minute low. Once we break the 30-minute low on a move like this, so we came up, tagged the 30-minute high, rotate all the way to the low, break the low, there's a chance that we just fall apart and keep going. Now, a trade that I like is when we break a 30-minute low and then look below and fail. So we break a 30-minute low and then come back into range and go to the top of the range. I do really like that trade. And that's ultimately what happened here. I can tell just by looking at the chart, if I didn't make this first trade and didn't make this second trade, so let's say this is where we are in the day. I like this trade very much. We bounced off Thursday's high, 30-minute high, and we have a good chance to reclaim. But once we do that, if for some reason, if I get in this trade anywhere around here, I'm out here, which is a good trade. But I did not, I would actually, I'd probably be out more like here on this weakness. So I'm just doing this to put into context of eventually we rotate back to the top of 30-minute range. But the way we did it, I would not have stuck around for it. So we come back into range, we go back out of range. We stay here between the two ranges, back into range, back out of range. And then this looks really nice. So this in isolation, a little look below, immediately it's wanting to come back, comes back, tests it as support, and then you rip. And you go, did it make it to the top? Makes it to the top. Now it's after hours. So it didn't quite make it to the top of range. But yeah, this is the trade I like to see. Something like this. Now this happened later in the day. It happened after all this. So I just, for my current trading style, I would not have caught this. I do like the looks of it though on this chart. And then the last one is NQ, which I do not usually trade. And I just had one trade. That was on Tuesday right here. This was probably my favorite trade of the week. Yeah, this is an 8.5 out of 10. This is a good trade. So we come into 30-minute low. I pick it up, lower in the candle for once, or halfway in the candle. Come back, we retest. I'm just patient right here, letting it do its thing. Right around here, I start to get a little impatient because we haven't really broken above this 960. So I'm still giving it room, but I'm getting impatient, sort of like Wednesday's trade, where it's not quite doing what I thought it could do anymore. So I'm getting ready to get out. We get a pop. I'm out here, 71. So 47.50 to 71. Now this is NQ, so the points, the dollars per tick are different, but that's a good trade. I'm very happy with this trade. Yeah, this is an 8.5 out of 10. This is the trade of the week. And then we ended up just rolling over. So it's good to exit as well because I couldn't have got much more on the day. All right, so that's it. That's the week in review. All in all, the account is up $30-ish from last week, which is, it's painful because coming into Friday from last week, it was up, 800 plus. And I gave back a lot of that on Friday. I'm not really happy with myself on the first trade of Friday. It was a little bit of a rule breaking trade, and then it didn't work. So that really doesn't feel great. The second trade, I'm not, even though it was the more expensive trade, I'm not as hurt by it because it's, it's just a trade that I take, and I just took it a little early and was wrong. So that's kind of all right. So coming into this week, my goals were to only use one contract, which I accomplished. Hold on to winners a little longer, which I did not accomplish, but that only would have been effective on Monday. So it was actually good this week to not hold on too long because there was a lot of weakness. My trades really weren't that great in terms of being with the momentum of the day. So that goal was not accomplished, but it also wasn't a bad thing that it wasn't a really bad thing that it wasn't accomplished. And what I like about this week was I do like the balance that I had between patience and impatience of giving everything enough room to succeed, but then also getting out of it via just cutting it or just having a stop when it wasn't working. So coming into next week, I would say I'm going to stick with one contract. I don't have much drawdown left in this account. I'm not going to make it a goal to hold for longer moves because Monday was really the only day we had for my trading style that there was a longer move available. I would say what I want to stay with is that balance of patience and impatience of once I get in, giving it enough room, a deep enough stop that the trade can work, but also that willingness to get out if enough time goes by and it's not working. And I think something to improve my trading is just being willing to short right now. It's, the market's been kind of consolidating, and just looking throughout the week, shorts really had, this is not really my style, but this is a great short. I zoom out a little bit. This is a great short. This is a great short. This is a great short. This is a good long. So one good long, good short, good short, good short, good short. So yeah, just a willingness to short up against highs potentially. think that would help. And that's it. More next week.